Back. We're reading the Sealed Nectar, a Patreon requested book. It's a fascinating book so far about the history of the Quraysh and the beginnings of Islam. We're going to dive right in. We're in the section called Open Preaching, page 161. Abu Bakr, peace be with him, a wealthy believer, purchased and freed some of those slaves, just as he did with regard to Bilal, peace be with him, and Amir bin Fuhayra, peace be with them. The pagans would also throw some of the companions into the animal enclosures and then drag them in the hot sun. They would put iron armor on some of them and throw them on the boulders to fry in the sun. Ugh! No one would let his conversion to Islam be known about, except that he would have to undergo severe torture and suffering for the sake of Allah. As for the Prophet, peace be with him, it was not easy to harm him because he had such significance, nobility, and matchless perfection of character that prevented even his enemies from committing any act of this is a delicate paper, and any act of foolishness against him. He had, as well, Abu Talib, his uncle, who came from a noble descent and had a very great clan to support him. We have to remember his name, that's the uncle. And had a very great clan to support him. This situation was a source of great worry to the infidels, but they felt that they could no longer exercise patience or show any tolerance before a frightening power marching steadily to cancel their religious office and worldly authority. Oh boy, here we go. We're in a new little area. It says, the Quraysh approached Abu Talib. That's the uncle. They approached him, the uncle. So I'm write the uncle right here. Ibn Ishaq said, some men among the nobles of the Quraysh went to Abu Talib. They said, O Abu Talib, your nephew curses our gods, finds faults with our way of life, mocks our religion and degrades our forefathers. Either you must stop him, or you must let us get at him, for you are in the same opposition as we are in opposition to him, and we will rid you of him. Abu Talib tried to calm them down by giving a polite reply. The Prophet, peace be with him, however, continued on his way of preaching Allah's religion and calling to it. The Quraysh could not be patient for very long while they witnessed his work in inviting others to Allah. The more he worked, the more they talked about the problem. Wow. Okay, the next one says, the Quraysh pressure Abu Talib. Oh boy. Here we go. They're going to put the moves on him. The Quraysh nobles came to Abu Talib and insisted that he put a stop to his nephew's activities. Such activities, if allowed unchecked, they said, would draw him into severe hostility. Abu Talib was deeply distressed at this open threat of his people and their enmity, but he could not afford to desert the messenger, peace be with him, too. He sent for his nephew and told him what the people had said. Spare me and yourself, and put no burden on me that I can't bear. Upon this, the Prophet, peace be with him, thought that his uncle would let him down and would no longer support him. So he replied, O my uncle, by Allah, if they put the sun in my right hand and the moon in my left on condition that I abandon this course, I would not abandon it until Allah has made me victorious, or I perish therein. The Prophet, peace be with him, got up. As he turned away, his uncle called him and said, Come back, my nephew. And when he came back, he said, Go and preach what you please, for by Allah, I will never forsake you. Oh, good, he wasn't like a Judas. He then recited 2 lines of verse with significant meanings of full support to the Prophet, peace be with him, and absolute gratification by the course that his nephew had chalked out in Arabia. Okay, the next one says, the Quraysh confront Abu Talib a second time. Quraysh, seeing that Allah's messenger, peace be with him, was still intent on his call, realized that Abu Talib would never forsake his nephew. Even this incurred their enmity. Some of them then went to see him once more, talking with him, a youth called Umrah bin al-Walid bin al-Mughra and said, "O Abu Talib, we have brought you a smart boy, still in the bloom of his youth, to make use of his mind and strength and take him as your son in exchange for your nephew, who has run counter to your religion, brought about social conflict, found fault with your way of life, so that we kill him and rid you of his endless troubles, just man for man." Look at that. Notice how it says that, like, found fault with your way of life. It's almost like they're trying to appease to him to continue. He just obviously Abu Talib's not doing anything bad, right? But it's almost like they're trying to like subtly get in there and like turn family against family, right? Like, oh, he doesn't like the way you live, hoping that Abu Talib gets offended and then turns on his nephew. It's a very disgusting tactic. Abu Talib's reply was, "It is really an unfair bargain. You give me your son to bring him up, and I give you my son to kill him. Oh, by Allah, it is something incredible." Al-Mutim bin Adi, a member of the delegation, interrupted, saying that the Quraysh had been fair in that bargain because they meant only to rid you of that source of hateful trouble. But as I see, you are determined to refuse their favors. Well, yeah. Abu Talib, of course, turned down all their offers and challenged them to do whatever they pleased. Historical resources do not give exact date of these two meetings with Abu Talib. They, however, seem more likely to have taken place in the 6th year of prophethood, with a brief lapse of time in between. Says the atrocities against Allah's Messenger. Oh no. Abu Lahab himself took the initiative in the new series of persecutions and started to share out countless aspects of harmful deeds, hatred, and nastiness against Muhammad, peace be with him, starting with throwing stones at him. Oh boy, someone's throwing stones at me, like literal physical stones. Ain't no way I could take that. Muhammad must have had some patience like I ain't never seen. You chuck something at me, a sandal or something, I'm coming for you. And that stone's going down your mouth. It's the patience. Forcing his two sons to divorce their wives, Ruqiyya and Kulthum, peace be with them, the Prophet's daughters, showing delight on his second son's death. What a horrible people. So it was Abu Lahab glorifying in someone's kids dying? What the heck? And calling him the man cut off with offspring. Wow. And then shadowing his steps during the pilgrimage and forum seasons, as we mentioned earlier, to belie him and persuade the Bedouins against him and his call. Tariq bin Abdullah al-Muharabi narrated that he would not stop at merely rebuking the Prophet, peace be with him. Rather, he would throw stones at him until his ankles bled. Oh, man. Dang. If that was my brother, or just somebody I cared about, and I saw somebody throwing stones to the point where their feet's bleeding, I'm taking one for the team. You're not doing that to my friend. Oh, man. His wife, Jamil bint Harb, the sister of Abu Sufyan, had also her share in this merciless campaign. She proved that she was not less than her husband in the enmity and hatred she had for the Prophet, peace be with him. In order to cause him bodily injury, she used to tie bundles of thorns with ropes of twisted palm leaf fiber and scatter them in the paths which the Prophet was expected to take. Wow. Who does that? She was really an ill-mannered and bad-tempered woman with abusive language, highly skilled in the art of hatching intrigues and enkindling the fire of enmity and hatred. She was deservedly stained as the carrier of firewood in the noble Quran. On receiving this news, she directly proceeded to the Kaaba with a handful of pebbles to throw at the Prophet. Man, what is wrong with people? Allah the Great took away her sight. Well, there you go. Can't throw the stones if you can't see. and she saw only Abu Bakr, who was sitting immediately next to the Prophet, peace be with him. She then addressed Abu Bakr, peace be with him, in the most daring manner, threatening to break his companion's mouth with her handful of pebbles, and recited a line of verse having words full of disrespect and disobedience. We have disobeyed the dispraised one, rejected his call, and alienated ourselves from his religion. When she left, Abu Bakr, peace be with him, turned to the Prophet, peace be upon him, and inquired about the matter. The Prophet, peace be with him, said, "She did not see me. Allah prevented her from being able to see me." Abu Bakr al-Bazar also recorded this story, but in his version, when she stopped at Abu Bakr, peace be with him, she said, "O Abu Bakr, we ridicule your companion." Abu Bakr replied, "No, by the Lord of this structure, he has not articulated nor uttered poetry." She replied, "You have said the truth." Abu Lahab and his household used to inflict those shameful examples of torture and harassment in spite of the blood relation that tied them, for he was the Prophet's uncle and lived next door to him. Similarly, other neighbors of the Prophet, peace be with him, would cause harm to him in his own house as well? Ugh. Even the neighbors? So many attacks. Even... Wow. Ibn Ishaq said, "The group of those who used to harm Allah's Messenger, peace be with him, in his house included Abu Lahab, Al-Hakam bin Abul As bin Umayyah, Uqba bin Abi Muwait, Adi bin Hamra, Ath-Thaqafi, and Ibn al-Asda Al-Hudhali. These were his neighbors, and he was not safe from any of them except for Al-Hakam bin Abulas. Man, when you're not safe from your neighbors, it's a terrible feeling. I know that feeling. I have crazy neighbors. Oh, it's not a good feeling when you can't trust your neighbors. One of them would throw the womb of a sheep on him while he was praying. What in the... That's disgusting. Another would throw it in his prepared pot of food. Oh my gosh. Then Allah's Messenger, peace be with him, would use a rock to screen him from them when he prayed. When they would throw these harmful things on him, he would remove them with a piece of wood and put it by the door, then say, "O Bani Abad Manaf, what kind of neighborly treatment is this?" Then he would throw it in the street. Wow. That's... Talk about testing. Oh my gosh. I don't know. That's so much patience. Like, I would have snapped. I would have murdered people who torture me like that. If I saw that happening to my family member, I'd kill that person, my friend. Like, wow. I don't like seeing people get publicly abused. I don't like that. I don't like bullying. I don't like people who don't use words in the battlement of ideas and decide to go with really gross measures. And I'm always very paranoid. I've had people put things in my food before to be mean to me, and so when they said that they took a sheep womb and tossed it in his food, I connected with that because it's such a nasty thing to do when you mess with people's food. Wow. I no wonder why people say peace be with him, because he had so much suffering. Wow. Makes me mad. My blood feels hot. My blood feels hot. I don't like bullying, man. What nasty people. Nasty people doing nasty things. What do you think, family?